Hello, everybody. It's me, Hans Christian Pookie Reed. Amberlynn Reed has finally been sued. That's right. Her aunt is suing her for real in small claims court over the amount of $5,000 in damages. It's going to be another hot one today. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, or grab your night blanket because it's almost nighttime or the middle of the night where you are at. It's going to be a beautiful one today. So we're also going to be talking about Foodie Beauty raging that she's quitting YouTube. Amber Reed, Chantal Cutie, Everyday Miriam quitting YouTube so much they talk about it and then they come back. By the way, one more question to Amberlynn Reed. I'll just use your real name because, we know you're in a bit of a situation type nightmare. Amber, is this everything you thought it would be when you were trashing your aunt, when you were trashing people and lying about them? How long have I told you? For years I told you she would get sued. For years. I saw this coming a mile away. I take my payments in cheese. All right, everything I'm saying simply for entertainment purposes only. Please don't take anything I say seriously. I'm sharing my own opinions, not facts, and publicly accessible information first made public by public figures. Please don't go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, discouraging, disparaging comments. Okay, before we get into it, just so that we're all very, very, very clear, I would never share private information that was taken from somebody. You know that I don't do that. I talk about public stuff. When you file a lawsuit, it is a matter of law, a matter of fact, and a matter of public record. This is a screenshot. My screenshot is from Apathetic Facts. Link down below to the channel. Basically, this is all a matter of public law and public fact. And so many facts, not enough Kermits. Basically, yes, you could look this up too, but you don't have to if you don't want to, because I'm going to show you a screenshot. Yeah, anyone could look this up. When you sue people, it's public. So wonderful time to be alive. Let's just take a look at this. So basically, Tammie has filed a lawsuit against Hans Christian Pookie Reed. So Reed, Amberlynn defendant, and Tammie is the plaintiff. It's for at least $5,000 or more in small claims court. So those are her damages, at least more than $5,000. Okay, so let's look at the benefits of this. First, Tammie doesn't have to hire lawyers. She can if she chooses to, right? But usually it depends on your location. But I believe that usually lawyers are not really in small claims court. So this lets Tammie save some money on a lawyer. And also, only Tammie could assess. Well, also a lawyer could assess if she didn't sue in small claims court, but more on that later. But only Tammie can assess what are her damages financially, okay? So the other benefits of this for Girl World and for Hans Christian Pookie Reed, of course. So Amber's going to have to actually show up. Very fun fact. If you are the defendant in a small claims court and case, and you don't show up, which Hans Christian Pookie Reed, time to get an Uber or mommy to drive you. You think mommy could take some time off of work to take you to your case, to take you to your court case, Pookie? You're gonna have to drive there somehow. Maybe mommy could just dump her job. So outrageous that your mother has to take time off of her job or not show up at all to drive you to this court case because you couldn't keep your mouth shut with your slander and your defamation, okay? And you continuously lying about a person. If you don't know what we're talking about, Amberlynn Reed, Hans Christian Pookie Reed, went and accused her aunt and the aunt's husband of supposed crimes that, in my opinion, she has no proof that they committed. I don't think they committed these crimes. How does anybody know if they did or not? She said that she just heard it from somebody and immediately ran and told it to Girl World. So you mean you didn't know if it was true when you said it, and you said it with malice. Pookie, if only you had listened to my frog. I told you for years this was going to happen. Here it is. Yes, well, it's okay. No one will believe me the next time I say something's going to happen, and it does. Anyways, my point here is this. I had a feeling this was going to happen. So Amber's going to actually have to show up. Amber, if you don't show up, there's going to be a judgment against you. What I think is going to happen is that Amber's going to try to offer her money, under the Kermit or whatever, and she's gonna try to not show up to court and just say, look, how much do you want? Let's settle this. You want 5,000, you want 10,000. But I have a feeling that all that money that you made this month, Pookie Reed, is going to Aunt Tammie. So Amber's going to have to represent herself. Oh my God, to be a Kermit in that courtroom. Oh my goodness. So yes, mommy's going to have to take you because you refuse to take Ubers and you refuse to take car service. By the way, I've had a few comments of people coming here and saying that Amber cannot take car service and Uber. That's just simply not true. She has, maybe you haven't watched all her videos, she has extensively said that she has taken Ubers with wifey multiple times. The point is she chooses not to. She wants her caretaker to be at her beck and call, mommy, to do everything for her. So yes, Amber, if you don't show up, you lose the case. Also, who knows? It could be 10,000, it could be 5,000, it could be 6,000. So yeah, Amber's going to have all this stress in her mind. She's going to have to pay up. You're going to have to pay up, Pookie. Look at that. All those super chats that you guys have been giving her who want to insult her are actually going to go to Tammie now. It's a wonderful time to be alive. I feel like a girl of 2021 again. By the way, do you remember when I told you before Tammie filed this situation type deal in small claims court? She filed on September 2nd. Do you remember when I told you that I thought it was very unusual for Amber to stop working if she is going to be sued? Because you're going to go through your savings, Pookie. You're going to go through your savings. Imagine if she gets awarded and you lose $10,000. I believe that's like the most amount you can get or whatever. Listen, the point is, let's just pretend she gets 10,000 or she gets 6, 8, whatever. This is a math channel. My point is, you not working during that time and taking this YouTube break is probably the worst possible situation you could find yourself in, because when you are being sued, you have to continue to work to replenish the money that you lose on the lawsuit. But, maybe Hans Christian Pookie Reed could send me a cease and assist. She used to call it a cease and assist, right? Not cease and desist. Seize this, Kermit. It's an exciting time to be alive. So, Amber, you've been finally sued by your own family. It couldn't have happened to a nicer person. So, now that we've talked about that, let me talk to you about something and what can still happen, all right? Look, small claims court is fantastic. It's probably the right way to go for Tammie because of various reasons. Mainly, it looks like to me, this is just my opinion, about the amount that she wants to, get from Amber, right? Financially, monetary situation here. However, when I was talking about Amber being sued, I wasn't thinking that this was going to happen like that. What it is I thought that she would be sued like this. So there is small claims court and then there's not small claims court. So you go to an attorney, a practitioner, and they take some time. They download all of Amber's videos that she was so kind enough to leave up because she thinks she's right. She thinks she's right. So you have an attorney, you pay them, right? You give them a retainer, you sign a contract, you're going to sue. You're going to commence with litigation, and my Kermit commenced with litigation. So anyways, and what happens is, they go through Amber's videos and they see every single time Tammie was defamed, and they go through her assets, obviously Tammie's, and they take a look at, how has she been irreparably harmed financially? What is her, the amount of money that she has lost on this, and they put together an entire complaint and they file it with the court. It's not small claims court, right? So every single time Amber defamed Tammie, they would write it up and they would have instances. It's called a complaint, okay? It's a legal complaint and it's filed, and then you get sued, and then a copy of that is sent over to Amber, or whatever, you have a process server, send it to her. Don't worry, she'll be home. She's home almost every day, she said to us, so you can always serve Pookie Reed. And then the real fun commences. Here's why. So then the defendant has a certain amount of time to respond, right? To get your own lawyer, and you have to pay for your own lawyer, and you have to respond to this. And then sometimes in lawsuits, you can file other motions. Then there's, you can try to get rid of it. There's lots of different motions that you could file. But why am I mentioning all of this? Only because to say, that's what I saw happening to Pookie. It's okay, Amber. It doesn't mean it still can't happen. You keep messing with the wrong one, it will. That's the real serious lawsuit. I'm not saying that the small claims court isn't anything great. It is. But when you file a regular lawsuit, not in small claims court, this is when the other person has to hire an attorney. And this is when the real problems with the money begin, because as people file motions, they are very expensive. Lawyer has to show up, and then one side loses, one side wins. And then as the lawsuit goes on, there's discovery, there's everything that Amber said, and then there's different things that happen that you have to pay for. And it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. That would have ended Amberlynn Reed's career, if not throughout the lawsuit, then at the end of it. But I think throughout it. You don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that is still coming towards you. Keep messing with the wrong people. I'm just going to say this. I haven't said this really in ever. I remember when Amber was live streaming in 2021 during the first live stream era. She would go on the internet and she would accuse very large YouTubers, with very large followings, of crimes that they didn't commit. The reason that I didn't mention anything is because I didn't want to repeat full-on slander. You understand what I'm saying? If you notice, I never repeat what she says if it's not appropriate. You don't ever want to repeat things that are slanderous. You don't. So she would do this to bigger YouTubers, a few YouTubers that were in controversies, but she just straight out accused them of crimes they didn't commit. And by the way, she also did that on her Snapchat. This is when I first started watching her, okay? She would talk about YouTubers with large followings that were in controversies, and she would just accuse them straight out of crimes they didn't commit. And honestly, this is my opinion. I think what happened in that time is that they just didn't know that she said it, and they were dealing with so much that they just didn't want to respond to her because everybody was trashing them. You understand what I'm saying? But that is very wild to me that you still have not been sued the old-fashioned way where you have to get a lawyer, they have a lawyer. Tammie and Amber live in Oklahoma, so it's going to be fast once mommy drives you. Remember how Amber always says that she wants to sue for slander and defamation. She wants to sue the Ankle or Jordy. Well, they don't live in Oklahoma. And what happens is when you file a lawsuit, Amber, just remember this.
Nurse, clear my schedule.
You have to actually sue them in the state that they live in. So you would have to travel to whatever states these people live in or anybody else you want to sue. So see, she's not getting a very good look at exactly how bad suing and lawsuits are, right? She's just gonna have it in her town, and mommy's gonna drive her after work or in the middle of work, and then she's gonna throw some money at Aunt Tammie, and there's gonna be a judgment against you, because I don't know, maybe Amber's gonna try to fight Aunt Tammie in court. The point is, this is just the beginning, Pookie Lynn Reed. It's coming. Oh, it's coming for sure. The other lawsuits that are sure to come, okay? It's coming for sure. They're sure to come. Vocabulary channel. What do y'all think is going to be Amber's excuse in court? BPD or that the judge is phobic? What do you think? Leave it in the dislikes and comments down below. I think the positive thing about this is that Amber should be punished for slandering people. You constantly say lies about other people, Amber, and you don't even say that it's your opinion. It's what you think. It's what you believe. You say it as fact. You can't do that on the internet. The sad part is this will not teach her anything other than people could sue her. But it's your own family that's suing you. Well, okay, this is when the real fun is going to begin. When somebody sues you in a different manner. If somebody has more damages than just 5 or 10,000, then they will sue you in a very different manner. And then you will not be able to pay it off. And by the way, continue to take time off, Pookie. I'm assuming the savings that she had, right? The money that she's saving is for taxes. It's for her own well-being. If you have to pay Aunt Tammie $5,000 or $10,000, you're going to have to come back to work, Pookie. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Bottom line is, this is just going to be the beginning of teaching her one thing, that lawsuits are real and that she definitely can be sued. No matter what you think, Amber, I've always said this. Amber can and will be sued in small claims court or not in small claims court. A person can be sued at any moment. You usually, for a big lawsuit, you just need the money. Here, you just need to file. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sure this is going to bring you and your mommy and stepdaddy closer together. I'm sure this is going to be really amazing for you, Amber. And none of this would have happened to your family if you just stayed in, Kentucky. If only wifey didn't dump you, you wouldn't have ruined your mommy's life. And by the way, the amount of stress that this is now going on in your life and in your mother's life, all because you couldn't leave well enough alone. If you think about this, Hindsight is Kermit, okay? 2020. If you never go on the internet and you never trash Aunt Tammie because you're upset that she's exposing the truth, not lies, you never get sued. You never have to spend money. Now you're gonna have to give at least 5 to 10,000 to Aunt Tammy. And you're gonna have to go there, you're gonna have to stand there, you're gonna have to mommy drive there. All of this could have been avoided if you just listened to reaction channels and didn't slander people and didn't respond the way you did. I can't imagine being a public figure, being on YouTube for over a decade, running to YouTube when you heard some hearsay story and sharing it with over 200,000 people. You don't think that Tammie's reputation has been tainted? You don't think she's lost out on money? Oh, wait, it doesn't matter if she didn't lose out on money because accusing people of crimes they didn't commit is defamation per se, where you don't have to show any damages because you accused her of a crime she didn't commit. What's next for you, Pookie? Maybe you could say that a woman is unchaste. You could say that somebody has a disease that you don't know about, but it's okay, Amber. This is just the beginning. No one believes anything I say. It keeps coming true, and then they don't believe me anyways. I'm here all night. The point of the story is this is just the beginning. When you keep slandering and saying lies about other people, they will eventually, like, I would have never done this. I just gonna keep it real with you 100. I would have never done this. I would have never done small claims court. Well, good luck, Pookie Reed. What's next for you? World domination? Let's talk about Foodie Beauty's community page posts and her video that she posted, her live stream that she posted, where she was saying that she can't continue to do YouTube anymore. We'll get to that. All right, let's look at this. My phone doesn't have certain filters, only face filters. So I have no idea why I had to block and delete so many comments about me supposedly using filters in my previous post with my new dress. I mean, when have I ever had to hide myself? You constantly post falsehoods. I don't really care that you use filters. It doesn't matter to me at all. But the way that you present yourself on YouTube and how you really are two different things. It's you and Amber do this. You guys constantly post falsehoods. Again, I don't really care. I'm not judging you for it, but I can't believe that Chantal would actually make a post stating that she doesn't use filters. That's all she does. I'm literally one of the only people in Girl World who shows myself on a near daily basis and have done so since I started my channel, LOL. Anyway, I have promised myself not to address this anymore, but if it makes you feel better about yourselves, I will turn off the filters to take my next pic. I also filmed in vertical mode, not horizontal, and just took a screenshot from that video from my previous pictures. Anyways, now on to better things. Okay. So the first thing is, I love it when she continuously says to people, she has said this in almost every single community page post. Oh, I'm never going to address this anymore. I'm never going to address this anymore. I don't like drama. You are bothered by everything that people say about you. And instead of just turning off your comments everywhere, you already don't get that much engagement. You get very low views because you bought subscribers. More on this in a few minutes. But you get almost no engagement. You get almost no super chats. You're in trouble, Chantal, with your job here on YouTube. You are in trouble, and you're one bad video away from being reported. And, you've had your channel deleted before. You don't get any engagement anyway. So why not just turn off your comments and never read what anybody says ever again? Chantal, one of the reasons that you started doing what you're doing now is because you were trying to hide yourself. You were trying to dress a certain way. Everything you present is smoke and mirrors. It is. It is smoke and mirrors. For Chantal Marie, cutie, everyday Miriam, to come on here and to say, I don't use filters. It's just not true. You do use filters. Everybody knows you use filters. I don't want to hear any of this vertical mode, horizontal. Chantal, you do nothing but present yourself in a falsehood. This is the choice that you and Amber both make. I'm sorry, both. And it's really up to you guys. I would never judge you for it because I don't care. But coming on here and addressing it shows that you're bothered and shows that you're not being honest about it. Okay. The main thing I want to discuss is her doing a live stream saying that she's leaving YouTube. She's just like Amber. She can't take it anymore. She basically is talking about in this live stream how people have stolen her hard work. They steal, her videos, she says. And what they do is they call it fair use. They say a bunch of stuff and they call it fair use. And she's sick and tired of being on YouTube and people taking her content and just negativity. Let's talk about Foodie Beauty's community page posts and her video that she posted, her live stream that she posted, where she was saying that she can't continue to do YouTube anymore. We'll get to that. All right, let's look at this. My phone doesn't have certain filters, only face filters. So I have no idea why I had to block and delete so many comments about me supposedly using filters in my previous post with my new dress. I mean, when have I ever had to hide myself? You constantly post falsehoods. I don't really care that you use filters. It doesn't matter to me at all. But the way that you present yourself on YouTube and how you really are two different things. It's you and Amber do this. You guys constantly post falsehoods. Again, I don't really care. I'm not judging you for it, but I can't believe that Chantal would actually make a post stating that she doesn't use filters. That's all she does. I'm literally one of the only people in girl world who shows myself on a near daily basis and have done so since I started my channel, LOL. Anyway, I have promised myself not to address this anymore, but if it makes you feel better about yourselves, I will turn off the filters to take my next pic. I also filmed in vertical mode, not horizontal, and just took a screenshot from that video from my previous pictures. Anyways, now on to better things. Okay. So the first thing is, I love it when she continuously says to people, she has said this in almost every single community page post. Oh, I'm never going to address this anymore. I'm never going to address this anymore. I don't like drama. You are bothered by everything that people say about you. And instead of just turning off your comments everywhere, you already don't get that much engagement. You get very low views because you bought subscribers. More on this in a few minutes. But you get almost no engagement. You get almost no super chats. You're in trouble, Chantal, with your job here on YouTube. You are in trouble, and you're one bad video away from being reported. And, you've had your channel deleted before. You don't get any engagement anyway. So why not just turn off your comments and never read what anybody says ever again? Chantal, one of the reasons that you started doing what you're doing now is because you were trying to hide yourself. Everything you present is smoke and mirrors. It is. It is smoke and mirrors. For Chantal Marie, cutie, everyday Miriam, to come on here and to say, I don't use filters. It's just not true. You do use filters. Everybody knows you use filters. I don't want to hear any of this vertical mode, horizontal. Chantal, you do nothing but present yourself in a falsehood. This is the choice that you and Amber both make. I'm sorry, both. And it's really up to you guys. I would never judge you for it because I don't care. But coming on here and addressing it shows that you're bothered and shows that you're not being honest about it. Okay. The main thing I want to discuss is her doing a live stream saying that she's leaving YouTube. She's just like Amber. She can't take it anymore. She basically is talking about in this live stream how people have stolen her hard work. They steal, her videos, she says. And what they do is they call it fair use. They say a bunch of stuff and they call it fair use. And she's sick and tired of being on YouTube and people taking her content and just negativity. Here's a live stream that I watched, and it happened yesterday, and this is what she says. So she said, it's not worth it for me to do content anymore. I feel like Amber Lynn. You do not. Amber Lynn ran off of YouTube because she was going to be sued for slander. She is. And she was scared. She thought that, in my opinion, Amber actually believed that if she stopped talking about somebody and if she left YouTube, then her aunt wouldn't sue her for slander. You are not like Amber Lynn. Also, she mentions that, Chantal mentions that she makes them like the least amount of money on YouTube, and Amber makes a lot of money. So you are definitely not like Amber. If the situation with Tammie hadn't happened to Amber, right? If Tammie hadn't threatened to sue her and now is suing her, then Amber wouldn't have left. Surprise. So then Chantal says, it's not fun. It's the constant negativity puts me in a very negative space. And she says that it's very bad for her. And she says that it's not worth it to do content, to make the least amount of money on YouTube. And what she's really talking about here, because she's talking about how so many channels steal her videos, as I said earlier. She's talking about a channel called No, I Don't Think So. I will link them down below. Here's their community page post. Here we go again. Foodie Beauty struck 6 videos because fair use doesn't exist in her mind. Best believe every one of the copyright strikes will be appealed. And it says right here, your YouTube channel will be removed on September 9th, 2025. Don't worry. If they appeal, this gets put on hiatus if you appeal. You must appeal. Okay, this channel offers commentary. It is fair use. She should not have struck the channel. The channel offers their own commentary, and it's a mixture of them playing Foodie's videos and commentary, right? So, Chantal, you false flagged them, and your channel could be deleted over that. YouTube claims they have a zero tolerance policy, but they really have to find out that Chantal is false copyright striking. Okay. So that's what she's talking about, that she's doing all this content and she's making the least amount of money. Why don't I sit here and compare myself to other reaction channels if they're making more money than me? I don't care. Listen to what I'm going to say right now, because this is the best advice I could give you. We may not all win the lottery, but it doesn't mean we can't all be rich. Now, that doesn't mean that any of us are rich. What that means is stop worrying about, comparison is the thief of Kermit. Like, stop comparing yourself to other people. We all can earn, money, and some of us earn more. Why don't I complain about PewDiePie? He makes so much more money than, in my opinion, any of the reaction channels. There are YouTubers that are much more successful than me financially. I never think about them. I just worry about doing my job and showing up and trying to do best, job that I can do. That's about it for me. Everybody makes more money than everybody. Okay, Chantal, let me ask you a question. Of course, Chantal doesn't watch me or reaction channels. Sweetheart, don't you think Amberlynn Reed makes way more money than you? Why don't you compare yourself to her as far as money is concerned? She always makes more money than you. And it's sad that you continue to compare yourself to a person that doesn't care about you. And you told us that you didn't care for her either. Okay. So the copyright strikes are completely against the terms of service. Your channel can be deleted. She is upset about a person that's getting a similar amount of views than her. This channel is getting a similar amount of views, which brings me to the views part. Chantal purchased subscribers. My opinion, not a fact, but I'm 100 on what I'm saying, is that Chantal probably has 50,000 real subscribers that subscribed over the time when she was doing very outrageous live streams and her food videos in the beginning. And the other 50,000, I believe she bought. By the way, I have videos on this where Chantal admits to buying subscribers. So this is not just my opinion. That actually happened. She admitted to it. Okay, bad. You're not allowed to buy subscribers. Why am I mentioning that she bought all of her subscribers? Whatever subscriber amount she has right now, 108, 109, I don't care. 1,000. That's fake. Okay, she really has maybe 50,000 or 40,000 real subscribers. And out of that, I always talk about this. How many active watchers do you have? I would guess she has an active 4 to 10,000 watchers, but not all the time because her views are very low. And you're upset about not getting money. You blame it on other reaction channels, but in reality, it's because you bought subscribers. So, of course, what happens in her situation when you do buy subscribers, you start believing your own hype. I think that she actually, for real, believes she has 108,000 subscribers or whatever amount she has, and she doesn't understand why she's not getting the views. Chantal, remember, you bought subscribers, which is against the terms of service of YouTube. You did that. You did that, okay? Say whatever you want about Amber. I know people come here all the time. Do you not think I would have called Amber out by now and they say Amber buys subscribers? I am telling you, no, she does not. Do you not think that I wouldn't have said that Amber bought subscribers if I truly believed it? I don't think she buys subscribers. She doesn't have to. Amber has a very dedicated following. And Amber's a slow burn where you have to wait for her drama to spill. Where Chantal does so much drama, just follow me here right now, she has burnt out her audience. Chantal, you have to take a lesson from Hans Christian Pookie Reed's playbook. Amber has these like drama-filled instances throughout the year, but it's usually boring. When you oversaturate your audience like Foodie Beauty did with drama, people don't care anymore. She also says, would you go out of your way to make content so people can steal everything you do? Yeah. I would continue to work even if people re-uploaded my stuff. I've talked about this before. People used to re-upload my stuff a lot. People sometimes, I think like I've seen like when you go into the settings, like they show you that sometimes people remix your stuff. I don't care. Like, I guess like they re-upload. I don't care because I'm not like, like I'm not insecure. I'm confident in securing the work. Like, I can do it. I don't care if you re-upload it. Also, what does Chantal mean by would you go out of your way to make content? You sit in your bed, you refuse to vlog, you don't go anywhere. If you consider that content, then I have a very large bridge of Kermits to sell you. What are you talking about? You absolutely do not go out of your way to make content. You're upset people re-uploaded with commentary. It's called fair use. You don't like it? Too bad. Here's the thing. She also did another live stream that she deleted that I myself personally watched, where she was begging for money to go travel to different countries. And she deleted it because people were not having that. Chantal, why do you keep begging for money to do content traveling? This is her idea of content traveling. She gets to another country, she sits in a hotel. This is not a travel vlog, okay? People don't want to pay for that. Also, remember this, if people gave you donations for your cat, if people gave you donations when you were in Kuwait for stray cats, they probably don't want to continue to give you donations. She was literally begging for money on the internet to go and travel, to sit in another hotel room, and that's your idea of traveling? No. She keeps talking about how reaction channels make double what she makes. Amberlynn Reed makes triple what you make. So what? So here's the thing. The reason that they may be making more money than you is because they offer different content than you. They are beloved, even though they still get, their fair share of criticism. They just don't focus on it like you do. And also, they make entertainment videos that you cannot provide. Look, Chantal, we all have different positives and negatives in our personalities. We all have different things that we're able to do, but you do not provide entertaining content unless you are raging. And I've said this to you before so many times. My opinion is that Foodie Beauty needs to learn how to do drama videos without getting, into trouble. There's a way to do it. And all she does is just rage about people and watches their wallet. Watch your own paycheck. I don't understand, Chantal. You have explained to us that your husband is doing well. He has his own business. He pays for everything with you. Why do you care if people are making more money than you? If you're going to ask me the question, do I think that Chantal is going to leave YouTube for a little bit like Amber did? No, I don't. You need the money way more than Amber does. And even, you mark my words, Amber will also come back because Hans Christian Pookie Reed is going to need money too. No, Chantal isn't really leaving, even though she promises to. Thoughts, comments, dislikes, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you all so very much for taking some time out of your day today to watch. I appreciate it. Check out this other video that's popping up here on a similar topic. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.